What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a review for one of my most anticipated films of the entire year, and that is Jurassic World Rebirth, the 7th installment in this franchise and the first one to be directed by Gareth Edwards. I want to give you a brief history of my thoughts on the Jurassic franchise as a whole. When it comes to the original JP from 1993, I mean, come on, man. It is one of the greatest blockbusters of its era. I revisit it at least once a year. There's something about the way it perfectly blended family fun with genuine terror and thrills. It's a glorious combo that none of the sequels have been able to fully recapture, but I will say I have a soft spot for The Lost World. It has grown on me massively over the years. JP3 is fine, I guess. I kind of hate a lot of the side characters, though. The first Jurassic World, I think, is a little overhated. You know, people tend to have a lot of gripes on that one due to the level of logic in terms of they actually built the theme park and then the dinosaurs broke loose. What the hell did you think was going to happen? You could say the same thing about the first film, though. I enjoy that one for what it is. The other two world films, however, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, are astronomically stupid. I enjoy certain sequences in those films that involve dinosaurs chasing people, but when it comes to the stories and pretty much everything else about them, I think they are massive failures. So my hope with this one is that we were going to get things back on track for the franchise. It was a pretty quick turnaround time. I mean, it was announced pretty soon after Dominion released, and within a couple of months it had already begun shooting. And I know that Gareth Edwards is capable of doing a lot visually. Take a look at The Creator, a film that I wasn't a massive fan on, but when it comes to the production design, I think it puts most modern Hollywood films to shame with what he was able to do, and the budget is only like $80 million. Look at like every other Marvel movie that has the production budget of triple that and compare them visually. It's not even close. Plus, this film also marks the return of writer David Koepp, who helped write the original film with Steven Spielberg and adapted Michael Crichton's novel. I was curious to see what he would do now that he's back in the picture. The big question looming in a lot of your minds is probably, does Rebirth surpass Fallen Kingdom and Dominion? The answer is yes, but to quote the great Ian Malcolm, well, you see, you were so preoccupied with whether or not you could that you didn't stop to think if you should. Rebirth stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey as a group of 3 characters going to an island near the equator to collect dino DNA for pharmaceutical applications. In a lot of ways, the story reminds me of Deep Blue Sea. Meanwhile, a father and 3 kids with a death wish find themselves marooned just off of the island's coast. As you might imagine, these characters eventually meet up, and then it's a quest for survival. How are they going to escape the island, and are they going to retrieve these 3 DNA samples that they need? And I certainly mean it when I say that this feels like Jurassic Park 3 meets Deep Blue Sea, and it is very back to basics in terms of the approach that it takes to the franchise, and I like that. I truly appreciate it. David Koepp even managed to adapt one of the great sequences from the original Michael Crichton novel involving a Tyrannosaurus and a group of characters river rafting. It's probably the best sequence in the entire film and easily the most suspenseful. It's worth noting that the World trilogy as well as Rebirth have pretty much fully embraced CGI as the primary resource to bring these dinosaurs to life. Personally, I think the practical CG combo will always be superior, but the dinosaurs in this one look pretty good. I don't have many complaints in that regard. And hell, you're not going to catch me complaining when we get Spinosaurus back, some good shit with the T-Rex and the Mosasaurus. There's a lot of variety with the dinosaurs. With all of that said, that's pretty much all there is to this movie. After an extremely flimsy setup in which all of the characters and actors look bored, these people get stranded on the island and we cycle through a bunch of chase sequences, rinse and repeat. Honestly, even as I say that, it sounds good on paper, but the problem is, to me, there wasn't a single compelling character in the film. I think Jonathan Bailey is likable enough as the obligatory paleontologist character. He's the voice of reason in a lot of sequences in which characters say the dumbest things imaginable. But Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali are just playing generic mercenaries. There's a very brief scene early on in which we learn a little bit about those 2 characters, their motivations, and their history of working together, but it's brushed over so quickly and never brought up again, and so it wasn't enough to pull me in and actually give me the slightest bit of investment in them. Another major complaint that I have, and I know this is common with a lot of these films, but I'm sorry, these people are such morons. I rolled my eyes so many times. Just take a look at this family. sailing near a dino-infested island. Like, what are you doing? And why are you bringing children? And one of the kids in this group brought her boyfriend along, and he was obnoxious. From his very first scene, I was pleading for him to be eaten. But it's also pretty laughable how when somebody does get eaten in this film, everyone sort of just treats it like it's nothing. They brush it off. Oh, well, that sucks, but anyways, back to the mission. Add to that, a lot of the dialogue is hokey, and I think this film has one of the most obvious character with shady motivations plot twist ever, if you can even call it a plot twist. And there's something about the third act of this movie that quite frustrated me, and it's the fact that they keep introducing these hybrids and genetic mutants. The executives at Universal and the writers, why don't you guys understand that we come to these movies to see dinosaurs, to see creatures that actually existed on this earth millions of years ago? Obviously, in universe, they're not perfect one-to-one recreations of dinosaurs because, as explained in the films, they had to fill in some gaps in the genomes with other animals. But still, we want to see dinosaurs. And this entry introduces yet another research facility that was, I guess, there since the very beginning, and we just haven't heard about it until now. And it's not that the mutants looked bad or dumb. I guess they were frightening enough, but they didn't really do anything. Like, you could take them out of this film, and it wouldn't change much. Look, I know I've been throwing a lot of gripes out there, but when the dinosaurs are on screen, I think this movie works. Seriously though, I don't think I'm asking for too much when I say that I just want some depth, something compelling or surprising to happen. Just go back and revisit the original, or hell, even The Lost World. Both of those movies have loads of memorable characters. And when it comes to the dinosaurs and the level of violence, that first film and Michael Crichton's novels are genuinely frightening and brutal. It would be nice to see an R-rated Jurassic film eventually so we could actually get some blood and guts because, quite frankly, these movies are starting to feel so tame. Characters will get ripped in half, and yet there's hardly any blood shown. I'm shocked that David Koepp wrote this because it's such a thin script, and I'm also kind of surprised to know that Gareth Edwards directed it. It is relatively unremarkable visually. I mean, he gets the job done, sure, but I know both of these people are capable of excellence, and that's not what Rebirth delivers. The whole thing feels very tacked together, as if Universal cared more about filling a release slot than constructing a quality film, and because of that, the script feels rushed. None of the characters behave like real, authentic human beings with distinct personalities and quirks. And the dinosaurs are CG, which I'm sure was a time saver. All of these shortcomings I have to imagine are due to a rushed production, but that's just speculation. And I can't end this review without mentioning the product placement. My God, the product placement in these movies is always so on the nose. Jonathan Bailey spends about half of his screen time chewing on Altoid mints. I'm giving this film 2.5 stars. I tried to keep my expectations modest for this one. Number one, because of the quick turnover from announcement to release. I mean, it really was maybe a year and a half at most, which is crazy for a blockbuster of this scale. But yeah, guys, I was let down by this one. It's certainly a slight improvement on Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, but I think I prefer just about every other entry in this franchise over this one. So those are my thoughts on the film. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you do catch it, what your thoughts are. As always, I encourage you to hit that like button and subscribe if you want more content like this. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.